Hello and welcome to yet another segment. Today we'll be talking about cognitive maps. Imagine how you would navigate from your bedroom to the kitchen or from your home to college. We never give any thought before we move from one known place to another destination. Rather, these routes are well ingrained in our brain so that we can carry out movement effortlessly. These routes that we store in our minds are called cognitive maps. In other words, they're mental representations of our spatial world. Now let's ask a question. Why do we need cognitive maps and what made them evolve? Cognitive maps helped early humans store the memory of various places where they could find resources like food and water and also potential mates. But it is important to note that humans are not the only organisms to have this ability. We have seen how birds migrate long distances from one place to another exact same place every time of the year through the sense of magnetic fields. Thus, non-human organisms also tend to have varied ways of representing their spatial worlds. Consistent research from neuroscience points to the hippocampus and specific cells in the hippocampal area called place cells as responsible for the development of cognitive maps. Eleanor Maguire, a neuroscientist, has extensively studied London cab drivers. They're expected to take the knowledge exam, which requires aspiring cab drivers to memorize over 25,000 streets of the city. Maguire studied the brain regions of aspiring cabbies for 4 years who consistently prepared for the exam through fMRI and eventually found that the hippocampus of those who passed the exam showed a sizable increase in their hippocampus compared to those who failed. We use a few heuristics when we develop cognitive maps. A few examples are as follows. Firstly, we judge the distance between 2 points to be greater if the number of intervening cities is higher than a situation where they are relatively lesser or there are no cities at all. The reason behind this could be that we use our schema that cities are huge, and hence if cities intervene between 2 points, the distance between them should obviously be higher. Secondly, we have a tendency to think that two locations are closer to each other if they belong to the same category, like a state, than two locations separated by a border. For example, people could estimate the distance between Bengaluru and Mysuru, both of which belong to the state of Karnataka, to be smaller than the distance between Bengaluru and Hosur. The latter belongs to the state of Tamil Nadu. In actuality, Hosur is closer to Bengaluru than Mysore. This heuristic is called border bias. The reason behind this is that we believe borders between two places exist in reality, but they're just made for political and administrative convenience. Thirdly, we tend to think that the distance from a landmark to a faraway, insignificant place is greater than a situation where we go to a landmark. Finally, the relative position heuristic involves a tendency to judge the position of a location by relying more on conceptual knowledge than on spatial configurations. For example, researchers asked US residents if Reno, Nevada, was west of San Diego, California, or was east of it. A majority of the respondents believed that San Diego was west of Reno, but in reality, Reno is clearly to the west of San Diego. The principal reason behind this is because people conceptually know that California is west of Nevada, and they end up deducing that Reno thus will be east of San Diego. Let us now turn to the ways in which we can develop cognitive maps. It's quite obvious that we can develop cognitive maps by noticing landmarks and repeatedly turning back and checking the route in which we traveled. Research has also indicated that we can create equally accurate maps through verbal description. We all have asked people on the road about the route to reach a destination, at least before Google Maps came into existence. When we come across information about a geographical location, we actively create a cognitive map, trying to check a relative position of that location from where we are, for example. We usually use orientations like up, down, right, left, and front and back when we are tailoring maps. We also tend to use information from our immediate context in order to reach the destinations we want. We might use a wooden log and a long stick that lay nearby to cross a stream of water. Or we might use a long hanging branch to jump from one place to a relatively far away place. This is called situated cognition. At the end of the day, we've developed these skills to navigate to places in search of food and escape from predators effortlessly, thereby increasing our chances of survival. I hope this video has successfully given you all an introduction to spatial cognition and cognitive maps. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you have any feedback, please feel free to put that in the comments section. Thank you. See you in the next one.